go through today is something that I recently discovered along the lines of how focusing on your goals, your end goals, your ultimate outcomes that you'd like to have happen can actually keep you stuck. So I'll be using myself as an example throughout this because it's kind of really benefit me in a lot of ways. So in a kind of, I don't know if you're into personal development, I suspect you might be if you're watching this, or you're either watching it or noising this or whatever. But the personal development field, like, is a massive, absolutely massive portion of it is dedicated to visualizing your goals. You know what you'd really like to have happen, and they normally teach you how to visualize it, make it really sensory rich, make it compulsive, and make it as real as you can. And the idea is that you're kind of naturally driven towards that goal to go and achieve what you'd like to achieve. And I always kind of knew that there was reasons why that wasn't useful, but I couldn't figure out why. I came across some research which has been damned useful, and it's kind of the sole reason that I'm able to do this now. So there's a problem with that. I wrote when I first kind of kickstarted this stuff, which is all with a view to getting clients. It's the only real reason I'm doing it. I don't particularly enjoy making videos, although I am enjoying them a lot more now, and I'm making a hell of a lot more better videos than I have been doing. I'm not getting itchy like I used to. I'll put the pen down. I have gone, yeah, I'm going to see if I can get through a full video without doing that as well. So, I wrote my blog, or it's a bit the Tim Ferriss of personal development, the Professor Brian Cox of the mind. I was visualizing thousands of fans on Facebook, loads of traffic coming to my website. It was great. I was making loads of money. And over the past couple of weeks, I've done absolutely nothing. And you could come to the conclusion that was laziness. I think some people think they're lazy. So if you procrastinate a lot, it means you're lazy. And this isn't necessarily the case. How you are focusing your attention, where you are placing your attention in terms of future consequences, might be a contributor to your procrastination and what's actually holding you back. So because my experience wasn't matching what I wanted, and I'd set up this like massively high goal, which I didn't necessarily have to get to that level, but that's the bar that I'd set myself with a view to kind of, even if I'd come in a little bit under, I'd still get further than I thought. It's not the right way to do it. I've got some notes I'm going to keep checking back to as well. So it was keeping me stuck. I was worried. I was fearful. I was thinking of a load of challenges. Stuff like not having a proper whiteboard, and I've got this big bit of light in the middle, which kind of renders the whole thing a bit pointless. It doesn't look flash. What if nobody likes my stuff? What if nobody likes the page, the choice artist page, which I'll probably start putting in the links below now. So if you want to get on board with that, if you go like that page now, if you want to stay interested, I'm not going to be posted on the wall all the time. And I was just stuck, full of fear, full of doubt, and stuck, going nowhere. My feet firmly on the ground, wanting all this stuff to happen, going nowhere. And I came across this research by two people called Fishback and Choi. I'm not making that up. That's their names, Fishback and Choi. And they got 100 students, or we'll keep it at 100 just for the sake of argument, 100 students at a gym. 50% of them were told to visualize their goals. For example, I'm going to work out today because I want to lose weight. I'm going to work out today because I want to look buff. I want to work out today because I want to get rid of my love handles or whatever. They were focusing on the goal. And the other 50% of students were asked to focus on what they're going to be doing during a workout. So, for example, I'm going to stretch, and then I'm going to run on that treadmill. Some variation of that. And so that's what they did. And they were instructed to focus on those things, as either focus on a goal or focus on what they're going to be doing behaviourally. And they asked them beforehand how long they plan to spend on the treadmill. So you've got the goal group. Estimated with the goal group had more intention to stay on the treadmill longer. So the goal group intended to stay on the treadmill for 20 minutes, for example, on average. The behavioural group that we just describing the behaviours estimated that they were going to stay on the treadmill for 15 minutes. So these are not exact figures. But there was a difference. So the goal group intended to stay on the treadmill longer. The behaviour group intended to stay on the treadmill for a shorter space of time. They did their workouts and then timed, Fishback and Choi timed how long each group stayed in the treadmill. The goal group actually stayed on the treadmill on average 9 minutes less than the group that merely focused on the behaviours of actually doing the workout themselves. And the goal group actually reported more effort in the completion of running on a treadmill than the behavioural group did. And the conclusions that Fishback and Choi came to was that focusing on the goal completely diminishes, dissipates, destroys the enjoyment of the process it takes to get to the goal itself. So it just completely eradicated the enjoyment of the process because they were focused on the goal. That's all they wanted. It took more effort, and they actually spent less time on the treadmill than the people that focus on the behaviours. So I thought straight away, that's precisely what I've been doing. I've been focusing on this goal. What can I do? How can I make this pragmatically useful? Because there isn't a lot of psychology out there that's actually practically useful. You talk to anybody that works in psychology, go to Hull Uni or go to some sort of uni, and ask them what you can actually do with this stuff. There's actually not that much you can do, which I might talk about later. But anyway, not much of it's practically useful. It sounds good, it sounds interesting, but right, yeah, how do I do it? Anyway, so how can I make this pragmatically useful? What did I do? How can you reach your goals without focusing on your goals and putting those barriers in the way? And what you do is think of the goal. So for example, you might want to ask yourself what you'd like to have happen. I want to lose weight, I want to exercise more, I'd like a better social life, I'd like to be more calm or whatever. And then think about the behaviours. What kinds of behaviours are more likely to naturally take you towards that goal? So think about the goal and then put it into the side and pretty much forget about it. What kinds of behaviours are going to increase your chances to get towards that goal? Okay, so we've got come up with the goal, think about the behaviours that are likely to get to that goal, and then have a think about what is going to be enjoyable about doing those behaviours. So we're not thinking about the goal here. The goal will emerge anyway. If you find out what's enjoyable about those behaviours to get to the goal will just happen. That's a no-brainer as far as I can tell, and it is working. It's working for me in a really good way, to be honest, because I'm doing this now. So what did I do? I thought, right, so what's going to get me towards my goal? To get into more clients, getting more exposure, getting the kind of things I would like to have happen. Right, so writing. So that's a no-brainer. I'm good at that anyway. I can do that. I enjoy that. I really enjoy writing, researching. No-brainer. I enjoy that. I do that anyway. I don't watch TV. Most of my time is spent reading stuff, making videos. Okay, so that provided a little bit more of a challenge. What can I enjoy about making videos? Because currently at the moment I didn't enjoy them at all. They were difficult. I found them stressful. Got a bit of an itch coming up now, but I've managed not to itch. I think I've only gone once. I've dropped the pen. My hands are free. I'm making better videos. So that is what I did. So I've focused on what's enjoyable about the videos. Film editing, taking a bit of pride from doing film editing, actually getting my head around stuff instead of getting impatient and frustrated, posting them online and even just getting used to nobody watching it. That's something enjoyable. That's a skill in itself. When something doesn't work out that you expected to happen, being able to get feedback from that so you can do better next time is a skill. So that's what I did. I'm just checking my notes now. And so after that's what I did. So focus on the goal, put that to the side, right? Forget about it. Forget about Tim Ferriss. Forget about Professor Brian Cox. Forget about all my thousands of or is it undulating fans, and the rest of it. Just forget about it. It's not about that. It's about the behaviours. So as soon as I did that, I was self-motivated. I started making videos. I'm doing this now. I started researching a lot, and I thought putting this together was going to take a long time. Or what? Actually took about 20 minutes, half an hour to strip down the patterning out of that article to make it useful to explain it on this video. I did it in about 20 minutes, half an hour, really surprised. Turns out that I've already learned that skill of breaking stuff down really quickly from a teaching background, having to learn ridiculous amounts of subjects and year after year and the rest of it, which was nice. And now I'm making videos here. I've got no fear, I've got no doubt. I've got none of the barriers that are in the way before. I'm actually starting to enjoy this now. I'm actually starting to enjoy making videos. I'll enjoy trying to probably put some pictures in it. So if there isn't pictures in it, I've probably got a bit annoyed. And I've just, none of the stuff that was coming up, none of my stuckness, none of those fearful thoughts, none of those doubtful thoughts, none of those anxiety producing thoughts are relevant for me anymore, because I'm not thinking about the goal. All I'm doing is focusing on the behaviours. So if you've got a goal that you'd like to try and reach, think about it, but think about it lightly and just hold it in the background. Don't really give it too much attention. What you want to be doing is focusing on the behaviours. And I'll probably do more stuff down the line in terms of how to get feedback to check in with yourself to see if you are kind of going towards those goals or not. Some of them will be easier than others, but you want the behaviours, and you want to think about and focus your attention on what is enjoyable about the behaviours that are naturally going to lead towards the goal. So I've just done it again. So that's all I wanted to do today. And I think within the next week, what I'm going to be going into is the problems that come up when you think in terms of categories, how that affects your perceptions, how that affects reality, and how that affects your thoughts and feelings. Because the way I've been trained initially was that all thoughts and behaviours is born out of what's called states of your feelings, basically, and it's not true. How you think about stuff, how you perceive things can directly affect your feelings as well. So it's a two-way street. So we'll be going deep into that. We're going to some really strange places. We'll be going as quickly as I can learn it, quickly as I can get through it, quickly as I can articulate it as simply as possible, because I want this stuff to be ultra accessible if I can get it. It's techie, complicated concepts, breaking them down into something useful and practical that you can apply in your own life, whatever area you see fit, so you can make your life a bit easier, a bit better, a bit more enjoyable, a bit more, whatever, or even just dealing with unpleasantness. So that's what I've got come up. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you on the next video.